Konnichiwa, jazz lovers, and welcome back to Notes from a Tokyo Songbird. I'm your host, Sawa, and I'm an aspiring jazz singer here in the beautiful land of Japan. Thank you for joining me for the second episode. A big reason I chose our subject for today is because I'm currently struggling with my piano lesson on Duke Ellington's Take the A Train. I kind of know why I'm struggling with it because I think it's because of the jazz rhythms. I'm not used to that yet. And also, I've taken classical piano lessons before, but this is my first year, going on second year, taking my jazz piano lessons. And of course, your fingers don't move, and the solo part is kind of hard. And I think that's what I've been I've been feeling a little bit frustrated because of that, I think. That's why I thought maybe if I learned about Take the A Train and Duke Ellington, maybe I might be able to enjoy it a little bit more. And I have been enjoying it better since I have a recordings to listen to and then the practice with. But I wanted to kind of go deep dive into the topic and learn more about it so it's more personal. So the next part is gonna be me reading you a story. Please join me, Episode 2, The Duke's Canvas, Exploring Duke Ellington. Edward Kennedy Duke Ellington was born on April 29, 1899, in Washington, D.C. Unlike some of the more hardship-filled early lives we sometimes hear about in jazz history, Ellington came from a relatively comfortable middle-class family. His parents, James Edward Ellington and Daisy Kennedy Ellington, were both pianists, and they encouraged his interest in music from a young age. Interestingly, the nickname Duke came about in his youth. His dapper appearance and gentlemanly manner led his friends to call him Duke, a name that certainly stuck and perfectly encapsulated his sophisticated persona. While he initially showed more interest in baseball, by his early teens, his passion for piano, particularly the ragtime music popular at the time, began to flourish. He was captivated by pianists like James P. Johnson and Lucky Roberts. He even learned his first piece, Soda Fountain Rag, also known as Poodle Dog Rag, by ear, though some accounts say he composed it himself. He started playing professionally in Washington, D.C. clubs and cafes as a teenager, forming his first group, the Duke's Serenaders, in 1917. It was clear from early on that he wasn't just a talented pianist, but also a natural leader and an aspiring composer. Duke Ellington's rise to prominence was a steady climb, marked by strategic moves and an unwavering commitment to his musical vision. In the early 1920s, he moved to New York City, the burgeoning heart of the Jazz Age. After some initial struggles, he and his band, then known as the Washingtonians, started to gain traction. A pivotal moment came in 1927 when his orchestra landed the house band gig at the prestigious Cotton Club in Harlem. This was a hugely important engagement. The Cotton Club catered to a wealthy white clientele, but featured black entertainers. The shows were broadcasted regularly on the radio, giving Ellington and his orchestra national exposure. It was during this period that Ellington truly honed his compositional skills and developed the unique jungle style, characterized by growling brass, exotic harmonies, and innovative instrumental textures that became one of his early trademarks. Compositions like East St. Louis Toodaloo and Black and Tan Fantasy emerged from this rich period. He also began to assemble a remarkable group of musicians, many of whom would stay with him for decades, like saxophonist Johnny Hodges, trumpeter Cootie Williams, and baritone saxophonist Harry Carney. Ellington was a master at writing music specifically for the unique talents of his individual band members, making the orchestra an extension of his compositional voice. The 1930s and 40s saw Ellington's fame skyrocket. He composed hit after hit, including timeless standards like Mood Indigo, Sophisticated Lady, Solitude, and It Don't Mean a Thing If Ain't Got the Swing. His orchestra toured extensively, not just across the United States, but also in Europe, where they were met with critical acclaim and adoring audiences. He was recognized not just as a band leader or a songwriter, but as a serious composer. Ellington's career spanned over half a century, and it was filled with iconic moments and groundbreaking achievements. He wasn't content to just write short dance tunes. Ellington had grander ambitions. He composed extended suites and large-scale works, elevating jazz to the level of classical music in terms of artistic aspiration. Pieces like Black, Brown, and Beige, which he premiered at Carnegie Hall in 1943, told the story of African American history through music. This was a bold and significant artistic statement. One of the most legendary moments in Ellington's career came at the 1956 Newport Jazz Festival. By the mid-50s, big bands were seen by some as a relic of a bygone era. But Ellington's performance at Newport, particularly an electrifying extended version of Diminuendo and Crescendo in Blue, featuring an incredible 27-course tenor saxophone solo by Paul Gonsalves, sent the crowd into a frenzy and revitalized his career. It was a stunning reminder of the power and excitement of his orchestra. This performance even landed him on the cover of Time magazine. Throughout his career, Ellington continued to innovate. He collaborated with a diverse range of artists, from Ella Fitzgerald. Their album, Ella Fitzgerald Sings the Duke Ellington Songbook, is an absolute treasure, to younger musicians like John Coltrane and Charles Mingus. He also composed film scores such as for Anatomy of a Murder, 1959, and Sacred Concerts in his later years, which he considered among his most important works. Duke Ellington received numerous accolades, including 13 Grammy Awards, several posthumously, the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1969, and the French Legion of Honor in 1973. He wrote an estimated 2,000 to 3,000 compositions, ranging from 3-minute pop songs to vast complex suites. His ability to paint pictures with music, his sophisticated harmonies, his unforgettable melodies, and his genius for orchestration remain unparalleled. He always carried himself with grace and dignity, truly living up to his nickname. He saw his music as a representation of American music, not just jazz, and he was a pivotal figure in shaping its identity. Well, thank you so much for listening to the story. Please let me know in the comments what's your favorite records or compositions from Duke Ellington. Mine is It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing. And I hope that one day I would be able to sing that song as swingy and as perfectly as Ella would sing, with lots of practices. Alright, that's all for today's episode of Notes from a Tokyo Songbird. I hope you enjoyed listening to the story about the life and the legacy of Duke Ellington. He truly was a cornerstone of American music. Join me next time as we explore another jazz legend. Until then, keep listening, keep learning, and keep swinging. Bye for now.